People say life is like a roller coaster ride. We have ups and downs, but ups and downs are part of the journey. However, since the start of 2020, the ride has seemed more like a free fall to hell. I recall first reading the stories about the China outbreak. I thought, wow, is locking up your people the only way to fight the virus? Come on, give me a break. The iron fist China placed in early 2020 stopped the virus from spreading further in China. But it did not stop the virus from creeping up all over the world. And we got a front row seat in watching a real-life disaster movie. First on a cruise boat when Japan refused to allow its citizens docked at its port to get out, nor get tested in time. We saw how unprepared countries fought for masks and ventilators, how international law and trade treaties became a thing of the past, when countries would hold needed medical supplies passing by for their own use. And we saw for the first time even China's local governments blocking shipments to other areas when they put their needs on top. Like I said, we had a front row seat witness the doomsday behavior we did not expect to see. However, the horror soon crawled out of the screen. From Europe to Asia, countries one by one cried over when the virus hit unexpectedly. And then New York became the epicenter of the world. I remember how proud I was of our state government when we looked at the news comparing New York with California. Our state, twice the size, and had not even a fraction of New York's cases nor deaths. Well, we must have done something right? Or is it just the weather? Who can beat the California sunshine? However, outbreaks in California started like wildfire. When Florida, the Sunshine State, became the next epicenter early summer. Eventually, California topped the U.S. charts in both cases and deaths, with close to 4 million infected and over 60,000 deaths. California would be number 9 in global COVID case chart as of May 18, 2021, beating Spain and Germany. So, no matter how many news articles I've read, assuming those were not fake news, I was wrong about COVID. Locking people up during pandemic is not really a show of dictatorship, but the only way to stop the virus from killing them. And the early California COVID success was not a success, but just the calm before the storm. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not blaming our government for failing us. After all, we did put the brakes on the U.S. pandemic by fast rolling out the vaccine. I'm just pointing to the obvious fact that with no known cure and limited medical supplies at the start of the pandemic, there's not much anyone could have done. Not much does not mean they did nothing. Don't forget that in 6 months, 1.51 billion COVID vaccine shots were already given. But why? Why is the case numbers still skyrocketing? Why are dead bodies still piling up? Maybe we could have done more. Our team, although a bit crazy for most people's standards, pointed out Nostradamus' 26 plague prophecy, and one specifically talking about 23 pairs. 23 pairs. Is that clear enough? He is talking about the human's 23 DNA. That being in one of the 26 plague prophecies means the cure is inside our own bodies. We brought that up in the books, videos, and in a way, the current effective vaccines using mRNA technology prove that 500-year-old prophecy seems to be helpful in some ways. Did you ever wonder why the AZ vaccine did miracles in the UK, but has had problems elsewhere? Could it be because the pharmaceutical company used UK people as test subjects to develop the vaccine, so it is more tailor-made for them versus the rest of the world? But we probably could have done more. For example, my friend, a healthy young Caucasian man, got seriously ill with COVID. He was cured, but 2 months later, his 35-year-old brother got seriously ill with COVID also. They definitely got infected from different sources, as they were hospitalized more than 2 months apart. But why? They definitely do not fit in the stereotypical type of COVID patient. Overweight, chronically ill, mainly people of color. But why? Why did they both get sick and almost die? I asked if he would help my research by doing an ancestry test. I thought maybe I could warn people with similar lineage. Don't laugh at me for using a sample of only 2. But look, as of May 17, 2021, according to worldometer.info, only about 10% of the U.S. population were infected, with only 0.6% being in serious condition, while people under age 49 accounted for only 2% of the total deaths. So their chances of dying to COVID was 2% of 0.6% of 10%. I mean 0.01% of them to die of COVID. But they were days, if not hours, from death before getting emergency help. He was a bit surprised to find 43.5% Mesoamerican and Andean in him. He knew about his European roots. 26.3% Iberian, 11.6% Sardinian, and 9% Finnish came in as expected, but he did not know he's got almost half of his blood from Middle and South America. However, I was not surprised at all. Our team has been studying COVID outbreak on our own since the beginning of the pandemic. We were surprised on Mexico's high death rate. People said Mexico government underreported both cases and deaths. However, even with the conservative numbers, it stood at 9.25% as of May 2021. That is 5 times the current world average at 2%. Scientists and politicians blame Mexico's high COVID death rate on its overweight population, poor healthcare system, and large chronically ill patients. But Mexico's life expectancy is only 4 years less than that of America. The health factor should affect life expectancy too, right? And Mexico has the world's 16th highest GDP. It has a national healthcare system that anyone supposedly can go to hospitals. However, you can say the healthcare system collapsed. Yes, but give me one country whose healthcare system has not been shaken by COVID. Being lean and fit most likely would help you fight COVID, but the few people I know that have died were healthy and fit. Plus, we checked top 10 most overweight countries and found only 6 with COVID cases and 4 with reported death. I decided to pick number 2, Kuwait, and compare it with its only 2 neighbors, Iraq and Saudi. As it turns out, Kuwait and Iraq are the same, while Saudi is better, but not by much. So scientists don't use Mexico's weight, health system, and chronic diseases as reasons for its high COVID death rate. Work hard and find the real reason. The reason may be in our DNA. My friend and his brother, with half Mesoamerican and Andean, got seriously ill from COVID. They both are young, healthy Caucasians who should not get it so bad, right? Could it be their Mayan heritage? Guatemala's death rate is 3.3%. Honduras is at 2.63%. El Salvador is 3.07%. Peru is 3.5%. Ecuador at 4.8%, while Bolivia is 4.04%, all above world averages. Did someone take a look and analyze the heritage as it relates to COVID death? There may be something there. We are certainly not scientists, and other than my friend who is willing to share his heritage information so we can alert people with similar lineage, we don't have any tools to help people suffering from COVID. But we will try anything. We may be safe now, But if our world is turned upside down, we can't survive on our own. Back in December 2020, when we were filming for our documentary on Chinese medicine at an award ceremony, we met a Chinese energy master. News articles showed him killing 99.77% of hepatitis B virus in 17 different scientific tests. Our team decided to challenge him in killing the coronavirus. Of course, we don't know any coronavirus patients at that time. So we picked a small country in Europe with a huge virus outbreak. He agreed to send healing energy to the country's only hospital for 7 days, and our team would monitor his work through sites like worldometer.info. We documented his daily work, made a 14-minute video called Energy versus COVID-19, and by the way, it has won multiple film festival awards, including a silver Remy at 54th World Fest Houston. The work started on 12/12/20, with the first video recording on 12/13. The master ended up working 8 days instead of 7. The energy work is supposed to have a lasting effect, and we found that despite Liechtenstein being caught in Europe's third COVID wave, and situated next to bombarded Austria and Switzerland, it was completely out of the COVID shadow. 30 days after the start of our experiment, it had only 42 active cases. And 2 months later, it had only 4, compared with 198 when we started. Now, can you say their drop was only due to pure luck? Encouraged by the results, we asked the master to help another country, Mexico. Unlike Liechtenstein with only 38,000 people, Mexico has 130 million. And because of the close to 10% death rate, its total deaths was at 182,821 on February 9, 2021. And its 7-day average daily death was 1,095. We knew it would take very long to see any sort of results from the master's energy work. That is assuming the energy does work. But with Mexico's death rate 5 times higher than most other countries, we felt we needed to do whatever we could. We started with one hospital in Tijuana. A week later, the average daily deaths was even higher at 1144. But we know it will take time. So we took a viewer's request and worked on 2 hospitals in his town of Monterrey. The average daily dropped that week to 843 per day. We extended that work for 3 more days and then worked on the worst hit area of Mexico City. The daily death rate dropped to 801 a week later, then 623 the following week. We started working on 4 hospitals and then 6 hospitals, and the death number kept on dropping. It went to 587 and then a week later to 475. The outbreak in Mexico started April 2020, and it has not stopped going up in numbers, but all of a sudden things started to turn around when the energy work started. The master took a few days off, and we noticed it went back up to 512 the following week. But the following week, ending 4/5/2021, it dropped again to 361. April 11 back to 430. 419 at 429. While the drop started again on 4/28/21 and reached 351 before another drop to 313. And then 226 on May 13th, 2021. Some people said Mexico's turnaround proved the vaccine's effectiveness. Well, I can't dispute that, but I have to point to the fact that only 2.5% of Mexicans got vaccinated or had been vaccinated when we started. And the number increased to 9.3% as of May 18, 2021. compare that with the rest of Latin America, and you will agree that the vaccine probably did not do the trick. So, if the Master's energy did do the magic, we need him in other places, right? We learned about a dangerous virus variant in Brazil in early April 2021. So we started in Brazil on April 10 with 5 hospitals. Like in Mexico, case and deaths did not show signs of improvement in the first week, as average daily deaths increased from 2675 to 2870 for the week ending 4/16/2021. But the work continued, and the following week ending 4/23/21, the number dropped to 2437, then back to 2579 on 5/2/21, and finally it dropped to 2131 on 5/8/21, before another weekly drop to 1910 on 5/15/21. So, I don't know how directing energy from the universe remotely can help people thousands of miles away, but I have to believe the numbers that I've seen. I have emails showing dates of my request, his clip before and after each week's work, and the number reported to worldometer.info. I'm not saying it was his energy that made all the difference, but when I heard a friend of mine's father died in Poland, and Poland's COVID case and death jumps daily, I decided to ask the Master to send energy to Poland on 4/20/2021. We did not want to run into the same language problems we had with Mexico and Brazil, as we had a hard time finding a big hospital in a city for the energy to spread out to surrounding areas. A few times I thought I found a great hospital only to find it was a mental ward or a maternity hospital. So I asked my friend and a photographer to join and help us verify the results and maybe even suggest some hospitals. They were supposed to join the Zoom call on 4/17, but we had to reschedule to 4/20 because one got sick. And when they still could not make it, we decided to go ahead without them. The work officially started on 4/20/21, although we picked the hospital and sent to the Master before the 4/17/2021 Zoom meeting. Anyone can check the data will know Poland's case and deaths dropped like a rock around mid-April. The week before we started, any work recorded average daily deaths of 540. The week after was 500, but it dropped to 399 for the week ending 4/30/21, and then to 273 for the week ending 5/7. Last week, 5/15 was 249, and I heard it is easing restrictions and opening the cities up. Whether it is the Master's energy work or not, we thank you for his time and work. It means a lot to people thousands of miles away that someone cares about them. Someone would pray for them to get better. Based on the number we saw, we decided it is time to end work at Poland and Mexico so we can focus on the area with the most variant, death, and suffering, India.
大家好，我是完人，祈福大家健康平安。今天我应王世云小姐请求，针对新冠肺炎隔空发送到巴西2家医院、印度3家医院，希望能够经由这些医院正能量的磁场散布到巴西及印度更多的区域和医院。巴西慈善协会圣卡萨杜里奥格兰德医院、阿雷格里港德克利尼卡斯医院、印度亚历克西斯综合医院、维斯瓦拉杰医院胡纳朱庇特医院。现在时间是2021年 5月11日晚上22点到23点，我将连续发功7天到5月17日。我发功位置是苗栗圣觉宫。天地元气万千，普度六道慈悲心，佛光普照供量，佛动百灭，化解清净，异化万境，如来佛法，万法归一，真如菩提，佛眼观照，开启天机。
The work in India actually started on 5/11/2021 with 3 hospitals. Like in Mexico and Brazil, the first week went by without much progress in reducing the death numbers. Its 7-day average deaths per day was 3949 on 5/10/2021 and went up to 4104 on 5/17/21. However, the Master will continue the work and we will continue documenting the results. Most people requesting the Master's help are in Taiwan, but he has only 24 hours a day, and working remotely in these countries means he has less time to help people in Taiwan. And sadly, a fresh COVID outbreak started in Taiwan 2 weeks ago. Like wildfire, it spread quickly. Hopefully he can divert his time in helping Taiwan also.
大家好，我是万真，祈福大家健康平安。今天是2021年5月18日，台湾的疫情目前越来越严峻。我希望我能够尽我绵薄之力，也能够为我们的国家做一些事情。那我首先我会针对亚东医院和和平医院新冠肺炎的朋友做祈福消灾，希望我的正能量能够在亚东医院、和平医院设定磁场，散播到更多的医院和区域。我将连续7天的发功，每天晚上10点到11点。我发功的位置是苗栗圣觉宫。天地元气化万千，普度六道慈悲心，佛光普照供量，佛动百灭，化解千劫，异化万境，如来佛法，万法归一，真如菩提，佛眼观照，开启天机。
Sometimes I feel like explaining to people, laughing at our work. Like, I know I sounded like the Don Quixote trying to do the impossible. But think this way. If no one tries to do the impossible, we would still be living in the Stone Age, right? This is Ken Peters. Thank you for watching.